Dr. Doomsday Origin Explored, strongest villain in the Amalgam Universe. The uninitiated might be wondering what the Amalgam Universe is, so let us go into a quick crash course about what the Amalgam Universe is all about. It was the year 1996, and the giants of the comic book industry, Marvel and DC Comics, decided to team up and create a new universe filled with a series of characters that were an amalgamation of characters from their respective comic universes. So, the combination of the character Doomsday from DC Comics and Doctor Doom from Marvel Comics was born, and he was named Dr. Doomsday. Interesting, isn't it? Well, that is just the concept. Now let us take a look at his origin story and the execution of this brilliant amalgamation. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Dr. Doomsday Origin. A brilliant scientist with looks that match his intellect, Dr. Doomsday, also known as Victor Von Doom, was the chief scientist in charge of Project Cadmus. He was a part of the experiment that dealt with cosmic ray shielding. He was in charge of the ground base on Earth, while the challengers of the Fantastic, Reed, Professor Richards, Sue, Ace Storm, Johnny, Red Storm, and Ben, Rocky Grimm, were in charge of the space shuttle from which they were monitoring the cosmic rays. But the glory hound in him wanted all the attention to himself, and he disliked the fact that the challengers of the Fantastic were being lauded for the risk they were undertaking. His jealous nature made him switch off the protective shielding that the space shuttle had, which caused it to crash into Earth. The origin story of the challengers of the Fantastic is pretty much the same as that of the Fantastic Four. Dr. Doomsday's obsession with decoding the genetic structure of the alien beast Doomsday, which was a creature that was killed by the Speed Demon, cost him his handsome good looks. While conducting experiments on the deceased creature's body, Victor Von Doom had a bone fragment that exploded right in front of his face. This is the incident that heralded the birth of the supervillain, which transformed the successful and attractive Victor Von Doom into the horrific villain we know as Dr. Doomsday. Dr. Doomsday was also an ally of Thanoside, who is the amalgamation of Thanos from Marvel Comics and Darkseid from DC Comics, someone who wants to wipe out half of a universe, along with someone who wants to destroy the entire cosmos. Thanoside promised Dr. Doomsday that he would be able to wield absolute power if he was successful in stopping the heroes of Earth from foiling his plan. So to achieve this task, Dr. Doomsday decided to leave a band of villainous superhumans against the superheroes who defend the planet. But sadly, Dr. Doomsday's nefarious plans and schemes resulted in the death of the superhero American Girl, who was the partner of Super Soldier, the amalgamation of Superman from DC Comics and Captain America from Marvel Comics. How powerful is Dr. Doomsday? So what is it that makes Dr. Doomsday such a frightening opponent that several heroes have dubbed him as the foulest evil incarnate? Let us look at the powers and abilities that make him one of the most vital members of the Amalgam Universe. The seemingly immortal being has regenerative powers similar to that of the Wolverine. Dr. Doomsday is capable of healing any damage because of his accelerated healing powers. He does not require food, water, or sleep to function efficiently. It sounds like a surreal dream, doesn't it? But what makes Dr. Doomsday such a fearsome foe is not his superior healing abilities or highly efficient body, but something far more crucial for a supervillain to have. Dr. Doomsday's intellectual capabilities of genius-level proportions are what makes him the most powerful being in the Amalgam Universe. Dr. Doomsday's invulnerability extends to resistance against heat, cold, and other inhospitable conditions. Just like the Wolverine's claws, Dr. Doomsday has bone-like structures protruding out of his body that cover his body like armor. He also uses these bone structures as weapons in the form of claws and fangs. Dr. Doomsday's physiology underwent a drastic change after his accident with the alien creature, Doomsday, which granted him superhuman strength and stamina. Dr. Doomsday uses his genius-level intellect to invent devices that aid him in his despicable plans. His Doombots, who are his most famous devices, are exact replicas of him that have the same behavior patterns as him. What this means is that each Doombot believes himself to be the actual Dr. Doomsday. Now, we know what is going through all of your minds. So who is the real Dr. Doomsday if all of them believe that they are the real ones, right? Well, this is where the brilliance of Dr. Doomsday shines. Dr. Doomsday installed a program into his Doombots that dampens the powers and abilities of them when they are in the presence of the original Dr. Doomsday. So, just when we think this overpowered character could not have any more abilities, we realize that he is able to utilize magic as well. Maybe he is a part wizard as well. Who knows? He could create magic shields and fire energy beams, trap his enemies in magical snares, and create magical portals to other dimensions. He could also take over a person's subconsciousness if he happens to make eye contact with them. The ruler of Latkovia, which is a combination of Latveria of Marvel Comics and Markovia of DC Comics, Dr. Doomsday has the ability to gain resistance against the method of damage that is inflicted upon him. For example, if Dr. Doomsday is killed by decapitation, he will be reborn with immunity against decapitation, which means he cannot be beheaded anymore. That is truly a frightening ability for a supervillain to have, isn't it? Marvelous verdict. A truly powerful supervillain who has earned his title as the strongest in the Amalgam Universe, Dr. Doomsday's powers are more than enough to validate his existence as the strongest among all. The Amalgam Universe saw an attempt being made to combine the best of the two comic books giants of Marvel Comics and DC Comics. The characters that were born out of this collaboration were an exciting bunch with a never-seen combination of their powers and abilities. Dr. Doomsday managed to stand out as a fabulous supervillain due to his excellent brain chemistry that comes up with brilliant innovations every single time, as well as his unmatched strength and stamina. So if you liked our content, don't forget to drop a link and hit that subscribe button on your way out if you haven't already. Have a good one.